From clickorlando.com, News 6 Plus, and WKMG. We're getting results in your neighborhood now at 6:30 p.m.
Now at 6:30, Vice President Kamala Harris speaking for the first time since Donald Trump secured the presidency.
While I concede this election, I do not concede the fight that fueled this campaign.
The vice president spoke from her alma mater, Howard University in Washington, D.C., less than 2 hours ago. Good evening. This is News 6 at 6:30. Thank you for joining us here live on News 6 Plus. I'm Ginger Gadsden.
And I'm Justin Mormouth. Her speech lasted about 10 minutes. She took a moment to address the young people listening. Here is part of that in case you missed it.
I would often say, when we fight, we win. But here's the thing. Sometimes the fight takes a while. That doesn't mean we won't win. That doesn't mean we won't win. The important thing is don't ever give up. Don't ever give up. Don't ever stop trying to make the world a better place. You have power. You have power. And don't you ever listen when anyone tells you something is impossible because it has never been done before.
Now, before the vice president was scheduled to speak, we're told she called President-elect Donald Trump to concede and congratulate him.
All right, so we want to take a closer look at Trump's road to victory. So Justin and I are at a board that you're very familiar with, Justin. You used it all night last night.
Bestie
the big
here.
board. Yeah, exactly. To talk about what happened. We focused a lot last night on Florida, and for a good reason. But there was so much happening across the country.
And what was happening was just a red wave, a tidal wave of red support for Donald Trump. We highlighted 7 key states, battleground states. And we knew that those were going to swing the election one way or the other, or in the middle somewhere. We didn't know how close this was going to be. Now that we know how this was not close.
It was not close at all.
We highlighted Wisconsin. Yeah. We highlighted Michigan, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. 7 out of 7. Those are not finalized, but it's going that way. 7 out of 7 likely going to the former president.
It just seems remarkable
Yes.
that all 7 of the swing, like, when we say, okay, she had to lock up the blue wall.
Well, go back. Let's go back to 2020. And we'll take a look at Joe Biden's path to victory, right? And we know that look at the contrast here, all right? It looks a lot like 2016 and Donald Trump's first run for the White House. He won these. This blue wall turned it red. He won Georgia, North Carolina, Arizona. Did not win Nevada, but it didn't necessarily matter.
And that's a big change in 4 years. Talk about 2008, though. You say that is something else.
If you want to go back in time, I mean, this is 2008, Barack Obama's first run at the White House, 367 electoral votes. That was when Florida was still in play. Notice the blue of Florida. That's long gone.
That's gone.
Indiana, same story there. Ohio, another story there. Flip North Carolina. He was the first one to do that in a long time. It hasn't been done since. So, yes, and then 2012, it gets a little bit more comparable, but I mean, the complete change in motion here, 306 in 2016 for Trump.
You start to see the trend there.
306 for Biden. This one is going to, as we're waiting for these two. So as it stands right now, 295, let's just highlight them in.
And see what happens.
And see what happens, and it's going to go 312, so the most electoral votes that he's received. The bottom line is, whatever Trump was selling to the American people, we know about his talking points. Sure, there were some other things that necessarily doesn't register for all the base, but we're talking about the economy was a major problem for Harris because of the Biden administration being in power during our tough time with inflation. So her headwinds were just too strong, it appears, and people, from what it sounds like right now, voted with their wallets.
They certainly did. The economy was always the big talker for a lot of people.
As I think one prominent pundit put it at one time, it's the economy, stupid.
Yes, you're right.
Something like that. I don't know exactly, paraphrasing.
It was said.
Yes.
All right, so let's take a look at some key, some dates on the calendar here. The Electoral College will gather to cast their votes for president and vice president on December 17th. The new Congress will be sworn in on January 3rd. Then on January 6th, Congress will certify the national vote. And yes, Trump's win will have to be certified by Vice President Kamala Harris. Inauguration Day is on January 20th. You can find all of this information and hear the Vice President's full concession speech right now over at clickorlando.com/results 2024.
All right, let's get over to Samara Kokinis now and she is pinpointing it was a pretty rainy day. Are we clearing out now, though?
We actually saw some breaks in the clouds earlier that allowed temperatures to really soar in spots. Today, Sanford tied the record of 87 that was set back in 2015. I mean, even woke up well above average at 75 degrees. Typically, we're waking up at 60 for this time of year in Sanford, so about 15 degrees above average. And we've seen that east to southeast wind really kind of picking up that moisture and not only bringing us the warmth, but also bringing us the cloud cover and also the tropical moisture from Raphael. So when we look live at our Light Orlando camera, delivering hope downtown, or together rather, downtown Orlando, still under the cloudy skies, but temperatures today got up to 86 degrees, about 6 degrees above average, only 4 degrees below the record of 90 set in 2015. There's still a little bit of rain out there, but it's mostly drizzle, mainly going into Osceola County tonight. I think the rest of Central Florida, you could run into a few drizzles here and there overnight, but for the most part, I think we're going to remain dry. I'll be back to talk more about Hurricane Raphael, where it's headed, what it means for our rain chances coming up in just a few minutes. Justin.
All right, thank you, Samara. And you can get Pinpoint Weather on the go, plus use live interactive radar with the free News 6 Pinpoint Weather app. Just search WKMG in your app store. Developing right now, where is Nicole Baldwin? The Mount Dora mom has not been seen or heard from in more than a year. News
6's Emily McLeod checks in with investigators who are hoping new attention on this case will bring them results.
Nicole Baldwin has been missing for 1 year. The Mount Dora mom of 3 was last seen at her home in Lancaster at Loch Levin on November 2nd, 2023.
It's been a year since she's been missing, and her family is just drastically or just hoping that she'll be found safe and well, and just some sort of resolution of this case is obtained not only for her family, for the city of Mount Dora, and for Central Florida as a whole.
On November 28, 2023, Mount Dora police searched her home and her husband, Brett Baldwin's car. According to a criminal complaint, detectives took Brett's phone in connection to a missing persons case and arrested Brett in December of 2023 on unrelated charges after investigators say they found child pornography files on his phone. Weeks later, a woman by the name of Terry Rogers helped organize search parties for Nicole despite not knowing her. But on January 19th, police also searched her home. At the time, she told News 6 she had done nothing wrong.
Why did you all search Terry's home?
I don't have that specific knowledge in regard to that search, so I don't want to make a statement in that regard. But it was, if the search occurred pursuant to the investigation, there was some sort of probable cause needed to search a particular area pursuant to the investigation or in furtherance of it, obviously.
It's important to note neither Brett or Terry have been named as suspects in Nicole's case. In fact, no suspects have been named in her case. Now Mount Dora police are asking people to call in any tips they might have, big or small, to help find Nicole.
A lot of large, infamous crimes have been solved in the past by just a small tidbit or shred of information. And Crime Line in Central Florida is profoundly professional and effective in working criminal tips and tips of all sorts to successful case resolution.
So you can stay up to date on this case. We have several articles posted on clickorlando.com about the investigation up until this point. In Mount Dora, Emily McLeod, Getting Results, News 6.
For a full recap, all the twists and turns in the search for Baldwin, just head to clickorlando.com. Believe it or not, it has been 10 years since the Dr. Phillips Center for the Performing Arts opened in downtown Orlando.
It's a beauty, too. It brought thousands of unique shows to Central Florida, and they are gearing up for even more. News 6's Jarrell Baker shows us what's next.
People have experienced more than 4,500 performances here at the Dr. Phillips Arts and Performance Center.
What was it like when it first opened compared to now?
Until people came into the building, those first 10 years of planning and getting it built, there was this aha moment when people came into the building, oh, this is what a performing arts center of this scale really means.
President Kathy Ransberger says Wednesday marks 10 years since they've opened their doors. They've had 5 million guests come to their 4 theaters and even to their events outside their facility.
So many people have come and also used the facility. Even some of the younger talent that we've seen in local schools have also used. How big has that been to have this area to use as performing arts?
So introducing cultural experiences in young kids' lives, I think the more consistent we can be, the more that they will understand that it's an important component to kind of a balanced lifestyle.
According to a 2023 Economic Impact Survey, the center brings in around $190 million per year.
The opera over at Steinmetz Hall, the Orlando Philharmonic and Orlando Ballet perform regularly their seasons. And there's an amazing Broadway series that goes on in Disney Hall. And this theater, the Pew Theater, where we're standing, has just an incredible number of and variety of productions, performances.
The center also helped local organizations like Opera Orlando grow.
This year also marks 9 years for Opera
Orlando.
And also it marks 10 years for the Dr. Phillips Centers. What do you think people should take away from that?
That the arts are thriving in Orlando. It's really incredible. The Dr. Phillips Center has been a game changer.
Ransberger says they have a 9-acre facility and they plan to expand to venues outside. In Orlando, Jarrell Baker, Getting Results, News 6.
Listen.
Never had a bad time there.
No. Yeah, I think it's impossible.
Right.
And it's being recognized for being one of the most beautiful facilities across. Architectural Digest recognized Steinmetz Hall not too long ago about, it is just perfect sound, perfect in everything.
It's so much fun, and it doesn't, I just went I guess it was a year ago now. But I went and saw the Nutcracker. Fantastic, and you're watching local talent as well when you go to a lot of those shows. You're watching Orlando grown, Central Florida grown talent, and the arts are so important. So I'm so glad it's right there in the heart of downtown.
Yeah, and it makes you proud to have it in your own backyard.
Definitely.
Well, for the latest theater, arts, and entertainment news, check out the Setting the Stage newsletter. Just head on over to clickorlando.com/newsletter to subscribe.
Let's take a look at what's trending right now on Central Florida's #1 news website, clickorlando.com. First, a lot of you clicking on this story, written by assignment editor Patricia Tolley. It focuses in on those Florida amendments and why they need 60% of the vote to pass. As you know, Amendments 3 and 4 had the majority vote, but they failed because of that 60% threshold. So find out why. It's really interesting. And then why, in order to get it changed from 60% to maybe 50%, would require a 60% vote of approval.
Florida.
Some things just don't make a lot of sense, and it's not even worth trying to find the reasoning, right? Or you're just going to make yourself go crazy.
You just want to know. You're curious.
Yes.
Well, here are some of the other stories trending right now over on clickorlando.com. A new report shows Orlando firefighters left the scene of a downed power line that later caused a home to go up in flames. The fire is said to have done more than $600,000 in damage. See News 6 reporter Stephanie Rodriguez's report on this story.
And Hurricane Rafael set to make history again. A closer look at why its path, never before seen in the month of November. Digital meteorologist David Nazario took a closer look at that. Really interesting.
Orlando renters chosen for a first-of-its-kind solar panel project.
Some of them seeing their electric bills nearly wiped out.
It's going to take that bill from usually $90 or $120 to just their connection fee.
We'll tell you where solar energy is giving renters a big break on their bills. And remember this, a missing kangaroo found. Its owner, though, cited. Find out where the animal was captured after nearly a month on the lam.
You're watching News 6 at 6:30 live on News 6 Plus. We're getting results in Orlando, Ocala, and all of Central Florida. Keep it here.
Brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places.
Wednesday evening traffic alert. Listen, depending on the weather, we'll see some stuff out here. 417 north and southbound through the Lake Nona area, some lane closures. I-4 out by the attractions. But we already know 429 is our big construction zone right now, north and southbound, using the turnpike as our center point there. Not a complete closure, but we will see lane closures overnight. I'm Trooper Steve with your News 6 traffic alert. Drive safely, and I'll catch you in the morning.
Here is a live look now over. Wow.
Daytona.
It's not the beach. This is from our Daytona Toyota DeLand Kia camera, though, and it looks like rain has been in that area, as it has
Maybe
been
some
for a lot of us. I got under some really heavy downpours today.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Tropical
What is that?
downpours.
Is that? I was going to ask you, what is that from?
That's it. It's all the tropical moisture that we've been receiving because of Hurricane Rafael. And I know you're thinking, wow, it's so far away. We've been seeing those bands of moisture just kind of pushing in. So that's what we were mentioning yesterday when we talked about the cloud cover and then rain. But
and mugginess.
Mugginess.
That was the tell. That was the tell for me.
I think that's what was on the lens.
Yeah.
Maybe a few drops,
It's
maybe
just
some nastiness.
I can't see.
I know. But you know, there's going to be a lot of people in town this weekend. It's EDC weekend.
Oh yeah.
So they're all like, what's it going to be like, Samara? And I'm like, hey.
It's not going to stop them anyway.
It would
Never
not.
knows.
It would not. We would still see them out there for sure. They make it a party anytime. So as we look, I'll get to that forecast in just a few minutes. I want to start with Hurricane Rafael, currently over, just basically moving over western Cuba, kind of the center of the storm to the north of it as of the latest advisory. But we definitely notice quite a bit of moisture still streaming into central Florida. But the thing is, with the latest track update, as we look at this, the 6 p.m. advisory had a position change as it moved to the northern half of the western coast of Cuba. But still tonight, 105 mile per hour winds. We have a central pressure of 962 millibars, moving to the northwest at 14 miles per hour. Still going to maintain that Category 2 strength as it continues to merge into the Gulf of Mexico, at least possibly through the end of the work week. Heading into the weekend, runs into a little bit of vertical shear, some cooler temperatures, and definitely a drier air entrainment. So what's going to happen at the end of this, we have yet to really see. Is it going to fall apart, or is it actually going to make landfall anywhere from East Texas going back down into Mexico? That is something that we'll continue to watch for sure. But notice it's going to the west, folks. So what does that mean for us? It means that it's going to drag a lot of that moisture with it. So the area high pressure that's currently steering it is actually going to weaken a little bit and move a little bit to the more to the east. This is our next weather system. It's helping kind of trap all that moisture into the deep south. But as the system moves away, that's Rafael moving away back toward Texas and Mexico, move out of the way, you'll notice that we see drier orange here. So that's drier air moving in. So that's actually going to move in just in time for the weekend. I think we're even going to see a lot of that drier air move in starting tomorrow afternoon. So as we look at EDC's forecast, it doesn't have much of a rain chance. I think I'm going to probably take that 20% off Friday, but by Sunday we could see a few more showers come back, just because we do have another system that we'll be watching. It's an area low pressure that has a potential to take on gradual development as it moves closer to the southeastern Bahamas by the end of this weekend. So that'll be something that we watch. It has a 30% chance over the next 7 days. The radar is fairly quiet tonight. I can't rule out a few little sprinkles or drizzles here and there. So here's a look at your pinpoint accurate forecast.
Your forecast is sponsored by Florida Lottery.
Taking you through the rest of tonight, here's what I mean by a little bit of rain here and there. Mainly cloudy skies, maybe a few little drizzles here, primarily near the coast that could make it toward the I-95, maybe the I-4 corridor. But for the most part, I think the majority of central Florida is going to be fairly dry, maybe a few showers early tomorrow morning. And then you'll notice that drier air moving in as it cuts up those clouds. And as we head into the weekend, it really kind of brings back a lot of sunshine. Right now, we are in the upper 70s to lower 80s across central Florida. And later on tonight, I do believe that temperatures aren't going to fall by much. It'll still be cloudy, kind of trapping in the warmth. Temperatures in the mid to upper 70s. Now let's get you some results and show you your pinpoint accurate 7-day forecast. So tomorrow, I'm putting your rain chances between about 20 and 30%. I think 30% might be oversold a little bit at this point, so you may see me lower that at the 11 o'clock news hour. But by Friday, I think we're fairly dry heading into the weekend. By next week, though, so Veterans Day's on Monday. Notice we have a 30% coverage of rain through midweek. That doesn't mean a whole bunch of rain, but it will be tropical in nature, so we could see a few downpours. High temperatures right around the mid 80s. Typically, guys, we're near 80, so we're well above that. for this time of year.
November in Florida.
Woo, don't we
Gotta love it.
We do.
Looks a lot like September, doesn't it?
Right.
Well, nearly a third of people who live in the Sunshine State rent their homes. Maybe you or your family live in an apartment, and you know how high electric bills can zap your budget.
Yeah, they certainly can. So News 6 investigator Eric Sandoval found a possible solution, solar energy for renters. He says it's good for the environment and can bring some bills down to practically nothing.
Sort of appropriate you put them right next to the huge air conditioners that'll probably be consuming most of the energy.
Exactly.
Richard Gooden is showing us a brand new kind of tech that allows renters in this apartment complex in Orlando to personally reap the benefits of solar energy.
These are a power distribution system, and what they allow is one solar array on top of the building to be split to multiple different meters.
So the power coming from the solar panels is basically coming here and split.
Exactly.
He calls it SoulShare, and Rosemont Apartments near Universal is one of the first spots in the entire country to try it out. You can see the construction crews installing the solar panels on top of the roofs here. Before, apartment renters who wanted to use solar would have had to purchase their own portable units like this one. These panels are installed by the complex. News 6 investigated, and we found out this is part of a rapidly growing energy sector. Just last year, 1.7 million homes were powered by solar energy here in Florida. That is a 22% increase from the year before. Add apartments into the picture, that number could grow even more.
They mainly want to understand what it was in it for them, where's the savings going to be at, if it really makes sense for them.
Mike Nunez and his team are installing the solar arrays on 7 buildings here. He says we live in the Sunshine State, so why not use it?
We allocate a set amount of power that we want every homeowner to have, every tenant to have.
Okay.
Right, so we have 10 apartments so far, and we've allocated 4 kilowatts of energy to every apartment.
How much energy is that? Put that into layman's terms.
So, put it this way, it's enough energy to be able to have a tenant cover his electric consumption monthly.
So they may be paying nothing, or how much of a savings will they see?
Yeah, so in certain months, most of the months, they should be at 100% offset, right? And this is gonna take that bill from usually $90 or $120 to just their connection fee. Whatever connection fee the utility company charges at the time.
That's the good news. Here's the bad news. Last year, Florida taxpayers claimed $750,000 in clean energy tax credits. Some of them bought new solar panels just like those. Renters don't qualify for those tax credits. Still, the apartment owners think renters could still save a lot of money.
It may seem like a simple question, but why hasn't this been done sooner?
Man, I don't know, but you know what? I'm looking forward to the future.
In Orlando, Eric Sandoval, getting results, News 6.
It's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I mean, listen, anything to lower the cost, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we have some good news to share, all right? That kangaroo that was on the run, remember that? This kangaroo's back home now.
Yeah, we told you about this last month. At the time, deputies said the missing animal got away from his home on a property near Pearson. They said he took off because a bear got into his enclosure. A group of friends were driving down a rural road when they saw him hopping around in the neighborhood. News 6 investigator Mike DeForest spoke to them about what they saw.
Well, I used a lot of cuss words in the video, but I was like, well, what is this? And we just started taking videos, and it turned out to be a kangaroo. And
so you see this kangaroo, and he's just chilling out on the street?
Yeah, he's just sitting there chilling and just minding his own business, I guess you would say. Lost.
He wasn't bothering anybody.
No.
Florida Fish and Wildlife leaders tell us they found the kangaroo this morning and brought it back home. They cited the owner with improper caging and failure to notify FWC within 12 hours of it being missing. I just have to say, this kangaroo was out there during Milton, so he's a tough cookie.
He is a tough
Where
cookie.
was he?
And what was he eating? That's what I'm curious. I'm curious. Hey, speaking of eating, Thanksgiving's not here yet,
Nice.
but we are talking Christmas.
Yeah, we're going behind the scenes of a popular holiday sound, how you can see the Trans-Siberian Orchestra next.
Coming up in the morning, another big move when it comes to your money.
Yeah, what the Fed is set to decide when it comes to interest rates and how the decision could impact your wallet for upcoming holidays.
Plus your pinpoint weather and traffic every 10 minutes. We'll see you for News 6 Morning starting at 5 a.m. Can you feel it? Yeah, Christmas season is finally here, and for some families, that includes the tradition of rocking out at a holiday-inspired concert. I'm News 6 anchor and insider guide Crystal Moyer, and if you didn't know, the Trans-Siberian Orchestra will be making a stop here to Central Florida. Fire, guitars, and hair flips. Looks like a heavy metal concert, right? But listen closely. The music, familiar holiday sounds. It's all part of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra, a rock opera group known for its Christmas tours.
The gentleman who created this whole thing, Mr. Paul O'Neill, had a real special knack for combining traditional themes, classical music, and good old-fashioned American rock and roll.
This year's theme, The Lost Christmas Eve. Vocalist Kayla Reeves says each performance telling a story.
There's always an empty seat at the table around Christmas time. There's always a sense of missing someone. And then, you know, creating through Paul's story, it always has a happy ending.
Writer and musical director Al Petrelli has been with TSO from the very beginning.
Our first show we had done in 1999, we had one box truck, one bus, and one fog machine. You know, so over 25 years of touring, when I counted last year, I think we had 21 tractor trailers, 12 buses, and a lot of fog machines. So it's kind of grown up over the years, and we want to give everybody a bigger show than last year.
Each show unique, bringing back repeat offenders. That's what TSO refers to fans who return year after year.
Why do you think the Trans-Siberian Orchestra resonates with so many people, young and wiser?
The story, the poetry, the lyrics, the characters, everything about it is accessible because everybody in the audience can relate to those stories or those characters. But nothing about a TSO show is ordinary, to say the least.
For example, last year, one of the vocalists sang a Mozart opera in a 10-foot snow globe. TSO also gives back with $1 from each ticket sold going towards community projects. This year will mark the 20 millionth ticket sold and $20 million donated since its inception. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra will be rocking out at the Kia Center on Saturday, December 14th. I posted more information on clickorlando.com/insider, but while you're there, you can enter to win a pair of tickets to the show or a VIP family 4-pack of tickets. You can enter daily for more chances to win now through November 24th. Remember, you have to be a News 6 insider to enter, and it's free to be a part of the club. In the studio, Crystal Moyer, Getting Results, News 6.
That looks like a really good time, though.
Hey, Christmas, but make it rock.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a rock show right there.
Were there fireworks inside? Is that what I saw?
Tons of, I mean, it's crazy.
And fog machines, of course.
'Tis the season to rock and roll.
That's right.
Okay, let's go.
That's year-round, isn't it?
Yes.
Thank you so much for watching News 6 at 6:30. Stream News 6 online anytime on our News 6 Plus Smart TV app.
We break news on clickorlando.com. See you back at 11. Take care.